Yeah, hi, good evening, everyone. So today is the revision session for basically OPP2. Okay. Can anyone confirm? Am I audible properly? Sachendra, Taneska. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Okay, so this week on 13th we have OPP2 exam. So in this today's session, actually we will discuss some important topics that you should just practice more. Otherwise, the we have also released this mock papers for the OPP2 that we will discuss on the Friday. Okay, solution of the OPP2 mock we will discuss on the Friday. Till then, you can try the questions. Okay, so the mock we have released actually that have higher difficulty level compared to the exact that final OPP exam. Okay, so don't consider that the exam will be on the same higher difficulty level. So generally we release difficult mock so you can practice more for the OPP, and you will get some lower level in the OPP exam. Okay, so the syllabus of the OPP2 exam is basically from till week 10, we can say, but mainly from week 7 to week 10 concept. By default, this week 4, week 5, and these topic internally actually included because they that all topics are base of the each code. So today we will discuss the topics which we have started from week 7. So let me share my screen first, and we will discuss the important topic. One second. So if you have any query before starting, you can also ask. I hope my screen is visible. Hello.
Yes, sir.
So first thing, we will start from the string. Okay. So string, and we can say that the week 7 content. So week 7 we are learning the string and array. And actually strings we also manipulate as a array. We can also traverse the similar type of the array things. So we will start from the string. What is a string, how we can take the input, how we can print the output of the strings, and also some important function we generally used with the strings, okay, to perform some task. So in the OPP2, you will also get one cheat sheet. Okay, so some very common strings function will be there, string or file function will be there in that cheat sheet. So near to the instructions tab, okay, so instructions tab, you will also find out that cheat sheet. So some basic functions and explanation and example code will be there. So if you forgot some very common functions, so you can also look in the cheat sheet in the exam. Okay, so first thing, strings. So how we can write the code for the string. So let me just take some example, and I'm not writing the complete code because it will take more time. So I'll just give some example and I will explain that how we generally represent the strings. Okay, so in this example you can see uh, the main function what we are doing, how we can allocate the string. Okay, so this is the initialization of the strings we can do. So we can create an array of type char. Okay, so this is the type, this str1 is a array basically of type char, and after that we can initialize the string directly at at the compile time. Okay, when we are writing the code at that time, you can initialize the value on this string array. Okay, and this strings will be stored in this array, and where the index, if you know that inside the array we can traverse the each character by the index. Okay, index is start from the 0. So similar type of here we can also traverse all the characters in the strings by the indexing. Okay, and another way is here to just write a pointer. We can declare a pointer using pointer to the character array. Okay, so this pointer, str2 is a pointer and it will contain the address of the first character, and after that we can traverse all the characters by the same pointer arithmetic operation, and we can also use the in the similar way as the array. Okay, so if we print both output, so you will say you will get the same output. And this is the we use the identifier this s for if we want to print a string, so we can use this identifier as a s. Okay, str1 and str2. If you want to print first character, you can simply use like this 0. Okay, and here we can also use like 0, but okay, this is the bracket thing. Okay, but yeah, so what warning it is showing? This is showing that str1 char asterisk, but the argument has type char. Okay, but it still it will give the output. Okay, 0. Okay, okay, we have to print like a C because we are just printing one single character. So we will use this specifier C. So you can see we are getting only H first character. So in this way, suppose if you are so some problem, if you one string is given and some operation is asking regarding that string. So what is the first character? What is the fourth character? You can simply traverse the string by the indexing, and you can find out the each characters by the indexing, similar to the array. Okay, and other operation like swapping operations, just replace the first character to the last character, just perform this swap operation. So if you know the length of the strings, you can also perform this task, this swapping things. You can take sense one temporary variable, just store that one character into the. So simple, this is a swapping of two variables value. How you can perform this? You can do the same things for here. Okay, and how you can identify the length of the string? So there is one function in the strings str, that strlen. So we can also check this. So printf, printf. Okay, and here %ld and strlen, and we will pass the name. Okay, so here this is our unsigned down. Okay, so we will pass this ld or ld. Unsigned. What is the view? Let me check. Okay, just start with D and check what we are getting. So 13, you can see 13 character we are having this in this length. So H E L L O 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so 13 character we have in this strings, and this is showing the 13 in the answer. Okay, so we can use this lesson operation and we will check the 13. Okay, and the another operation we also have the size of. So what is the size of this array? So size of, here you can see we are getting 14. Why 14? Because when we store this string, so the all characters are stored in some place. So each character takes 1 byte, and there is one terminator operator is also terminator value is also there. So that is also stored after the last character. So that also take one more byte space. So total size of this string is 14, but total length of this string is 13. So if you want to perform some operation on the string, like just traversing all the character only, just swapping on any operation like this, so just use this strlen operation. Okay, do not use the size of operation. So because size of generally gives one more character, one more information for the null terminator, or we can say the terminator value. So okay, so use this strlen operation. So this is very important operation, strlen. Generally, if you want to perform any operation, so first identify that what is the length of the operation, because sometimes when we give the size like 100, okay, so if we declaring the size of str1 is 100, but still how many characters are stored in this array, so that we can identify by the strlen function. Okay, so strlen, or we also use this string.h of function for that header. Okay, so some operation we can use by this string.h. So this is the correct way to identify the length of the strings. So how many characters we have in the string, so that information you will get by this strlen. Otherwise, if you use the size of operation, so this will show 101. So this time we have assigned some size, so that size will represent in the similar way, 100. Okay, so this is the main thing. So how you can print, how you can initialize the strings, how you can print the strings, what are the specifier we generally used to print the strings. Okay, so s we basically used to print the strings. If we want to print only characters, we use this c, percentage c specifier. Okay, and we can also use this pointer things. So that are the basic requirement things to understand the program in the OPP exam. Suppose if some part of the program is given in the question statement, you should know all the uh, keyword or all the statement clearly. Okay, so this is the basic things. After that, how we can read the input from the user. Okay, so how we can read the input from the user. So let's see another program. So here you can see the code. uh, Basically we have declared one variable str100, so that means we can store maximum 100 characters strings. After that we will ask to the string, so enter a strings, then scanf. We can also use this scanf operation like a similar other operation, and we can pass the strings, and that string will be stored in the our string array. Okay, suppose if I run this code, so like hello. Okay, so now you can see our output is also coming, you entered hello. Now this hello string is stored in our array str. But what happen if we pass the input like by separated by the space thing, hello world. Okay, so here you can see okay, this code is now, yeah, this is not working because this scanf function is actually read only the strings until it will get a that blank space. Okay, so it will only read this hello thing. After that it will discard the remaining part of the input. So this is not very useful input operation in the terms of the that string input. So we generally use the different function to read the strings, which is actually contain more than one word separated by the space. So that is actually f get s. So if we use that like so our code will be like this. Okay, not this, 1 second. Hmm. So changes here, actually we have declared the same array string str100, print f, enter strings, then f get s. Okay, so this is also a strings reading operation, and in this standard input, and we are passing first variable as a first argument as a where we are actually storing this input. Okay, and what is the maximum size we will pass. So here maximum size we have already defined size of str. So here size of str is 100, so we can also we are passing size of str, so that means maximum 100 characters we can read from by this way. And you can also pass like similarly 100 things like this. Okay, because our size is maximum is 100. Okay, and this is standard input. In this manner we can read the input. uh, so by taking like space hello world. Okay. Okay, so why it is not taking the output? Let me see. Still not say. Let me just open new Replit team. I think some problem is there. Second. OPPE test. Hmm. Okay, so let's run here. Hello. Yeah. So here you can see we are getting this space separated. We are reading space separated that input hello world, and also we are storing this in our str array. After that, we are printing in the same way. Okay, but if we use this printf things, so as the last example, suppose like this scanf. Okay, scanf this. So it will give error, not error, but it will skip the second keyword. Okay, so you can see we are only getting this hello. So this f get s actually reads the input till the null, that is slash a new line character. Okay, so you can pass any single line, and when it will get new line character, it will skip the remaining part. So this is the thing. So suppose if we use the same and we pass this new line character, so let's take that example also. So like hello and then slash n, then word. Okay, so okay, slash n is taking. Okay, so it is not ignoring, but actually it takes only single line. So okay, so what are the single line content is there? It will read completely and it will store in our array. So generally use this operation because it reads actually complete line. Suppose if you are performing any operation with the file, and the in file we have the content line wise. Okay, so one line, second line, third line in this manner. So it will read the complete line. If you use this scanf things, so there is one function f scanf this base for the file, so that will not work correctly. So generally use this fget s if you are reading the input and your input contains some space separated data. So this is the important function. Here you need to pass the variable name, the size, maximum size, and this is the standard input. Okay, similar manner print thing. So if you want to print the output, we have already seen the print statement in the previous example, but we can also print the output by this put s. Okay, so that like this. So here we have this str and hello world, and we can use this directly put as str. We can pass the variable name, and that will be printed in the output. So hello world. Okay, so these are some different ways. Some have some constraints, but you should know these basic things. So how we can read the input by the get s, and this is the print output in the output of file. So that is put as str. Okay, so we are printing the string content in the output. So this is very common. Okay, apart from that, some basic function regarding the string. So I have already discussed this strlen. Okay, so strlen, we can identify the length of the strings. Second very important function is str copy. Okay, so string copy function. So if we check this, so suppose we have one string in one variable. Okay, so here this src one variable contain a strings this hello, and another variable we have dest destination, so for the destination, and this size is also given 20. Okay, because this maximum size is mentioned, but our string is actually the less size. So how we can copy the strings into the from the one variable to another variable? So you can directly use this string function strcpy. Okay, strcpy, and this is the destination. First variable will be the where we are copying the data. Okay, and where from we are copying the data, that will be the second argument of this function. So dest src. So in this manner you can copy the data of the one string variable to the another string variable. Okay, and then we can print this output. So you can see we are getting copied string hello. So in this manner you can copy the strings from one variable to another variable. Okay, so just remember this strcpy. This is one important. Another is catenation, strcat. Okay, strcat, if we want to concatenate two strings, okay, combine the two strings, so we can use this. So here one example is given, this str120 hello, and the second string contain the word. Okay, both have the two different strings in which is stored in two different variables, and we want to combine these strings into a one variable. So here we will pass that str1 where the second string will be added. Okay, so str1, this is the place where the second string will be concatenate with this strings. Okay, and str2, so this is the data where we will use this data and we will add into our first string, so str1. So strcat, and this, if we call this function, so first hello plus this second data word. Okay, both will be combined and it will be stored in str1. Okay, so first argument where actually we are storing our updated data, so str1, and then we will get the combined data. So suppose if you want to combine, if you need some combine the two strings for some operation, you can use this direct operation strcat. Okay, so this is also important. Sometimes we also need to compare the strings, so both strings are same or not. So this is one more important function, both strings same or not. So we cannot compare in the similar way, like we can compare the integer value 1 equal to 1 like this. So for string comparison we need this function, so strcmp. Okay, strcmp. So I have created one doc file, one pdf file for this node. So I'll also share that file in the same live session event in the drive. Okay, so I think some file is already there till b5. So I'll also share this PDF files. Okay, so you can also just look the content first. So this operation strcmp str1 comma str2, this is the function if both strings are same. So this function actually returns the 0. Okay, if both strings are different, so it will not return 0, it will return any other value. So here you can check if both strings are same or not by this call, by calling this function strcmp and pass the both strings. If it this function is returning 0, so that means strings are same. Otherwise, not same. So in this example, if we run this code, you can see we are getting strings are equal. So this is happening because our first condition is true. Okay, because both strings are same. Suppose if I change some character like this t, then if we run this, then we will get strings are not equal. At this time, this function is returning some any another value which is not equal to 0. Okay, so this is also very common function regarding the strings operation strcmp. Okay, so this is you can use in your any problem solution. Another function is like strtalk. That is also one important uh, function. Okay, so what happens actually, sometimes we need to break the strings by some delimiter, so by some specific character or space like this. Okay, so we want to break this strings into a different word. Okay, this is also very common questions generally asked in the problems. Okay, so find out the total number of words. Okay, total number of words separated by some space or separated by comma. So how you can break the strings into the different keyword by different word by separated by some specific characters. Okay, so here what is this operation we are performing? So here one string is given. Okay, strings, that means sequence of characters. So hello, then comma, then space, then word, like this symbol. So we have different types of characters here, but we want to break this uh, strings, and these are the delimiters we are passing here. Okay, so we can also pass multiple delimiter at the same array. Okay, so this is basically a array, and each character of the array is representing one separator. Okay, so here this comma is one separator, space is also one separator, this is also one separator, this dot is also one separator. So that means if we will break our strings by these delimiter if we are finding in this in our strings. Okay, so what function we generally use to break the strings in this manner? So we use this strtalk. Okay, str token, string token, and this is called as a strtalk function. And here, so this is the first call basically, and this is the another part. So this is the combination of two part operation. So here this is a pointer character, is this token is a pointer, uh, and when we are just calling this function first time. Okay, so strtalk, we are calling this function as a first time, so we will pass our string as a first argument, and this is our second string. Okay, so this is also a string. We can pass single character, we can also pass multiple characters. Okay, depends on our breaking input. So delimiter, we will pass this complete strings delimiter. Then what happened? This strings will be breaked into different tokens. The tokens means this one token will store this hello, second token will store world, third token will store this. Okay, so this strings will be breaked into different tokens separated by these given delimiters. Okay, so hello world, this is one second. Yes, sorry. Okay. Okay, so after that, when we call this as the first time, so the strings will be break separated by these delimiters, and after that, each token will contain each one word. Okay, so like first token will contain hello, second will contain word like this, and after that we will run a while loop, and we will mention that token does not equal to null. Okay, if we are getting any token value which is not equal to null, we will run this loop completely. Okay, And what happened actually, this token, this str token function replace the each delimiter by a null value. Okay, so or we can say that the null that uh, string null terminator we generally used for the strings, so that is replaced. So this comma will be replaced by null terminator, then space will also replaced by null terminator. So in this manner, when we are printing this first token, okay, so token, that means hello will be printed in the output. After that, it also maintain the previous locations, okay, where we stop actually. Okay, after that, after null terminator point, then we will read the next token. So this loop will actually read one by one, each token it will read, and uh, till the last word we are getting in the strings. Okay, after that, the token will contain null. At that time, this while loop will terminate. Okay, so each time we will pass, so second time call is different. Okay, so here we are calling the same way, token equal to str token, but this time we are passing first argument as a null. Okay, so every time when we are getting null value, and then next location we will read the next token. So in this manner, so you have to read this code, that became block of statements, to find out that how you can break the strings. Okay, so in this manner, you can read all the words separately. So token str, this is the first call. After that, you have to run a loop, and all will be printed. So all token will be printed. So by this print statement, hello world, this is a test. So this is also very important part of the code. You can remember that how you can break the strings, and you can perform the operation. So suppose like in OPPE-1 question, so one problem is mentioned is based on this. You can use this uh, mock for OPPE-2. So I think where the name swapping is required. So two strings are there. Swap name. Okay. So here you can see input. There are two values, two part is there, first name and last name. So you, what you can do, you can break the this strings in two different tokens, and store these two tokens into different string and swap. Okay, so you can do you can use this type of function, str token function, for this problem. Okay, so this is also one important. Another is, so I think these are very common. So apart from that, you can also search. There are lots of functions, but that are not too much important. These are some important function regarding the C, that strings. Okay, so you can practice on that. So this is the part of the string. The second thing is the array, one dimensional array. Okay, so if array is given, so similar things, if question may be asked on the array. And if you remember that, I think one question was already covered in the previous OPP exam, last question. Okay, so suppose if you are given as a one array with some values, and you need to find out the maximum element of the array, and maybe you need to find out the, you need to convert the array into a sorted array. So this type of operation you should know how you can perform. Okay, so these are the very basic things. So like if you, how you can initialize the strings, and how you can read the strings. Okay, so reading and initializing you can do by the both way, compilation time at compile time at runtime. Okay, so suppose you have one array int arr, and you have size 10. Okay, so you can initialize the element at the compile time, like 1 comma 2 comma 4 comma 3 comma 7 comma 5, like this. Okay, so this is the initialization. Here we have total 9 element, but our size is 10. No problem. So here you can also identify the length of the array by the stl, that len. Okay, so here this type of problem, size will be given. Suppose some array is passed into the function, the size will also be given. So how many elements are there in the list? Because the size of the array is here actually total 10. But we have some, there is a chance you will have some less elements. So this type of problems actually we gives the length of the array. so that n value or length of the array will be given. So just traverse the elements based on the given size. Okay, so generally in the exam problems, you will read the input from the user. So suppose we have declared this with 10 size, okay, but we want to only traverse the element based on the input condition. So how we can do? So we can take some integer variable like int n, okay, and after that we ask this input value from the user. So scanf %ld, okay, and symbol and value. After that we run a loop for int i equal to 0 and I is less than n and I plus plus. Okay, so and we read all the input scan by the scanf from the user. So that is the similar way. So %ld, and we store this data in our array. So arr and pass the variable I and use this and symbol here. So in this manner, we will read the input from the user at runtime. Okay. So after that, we can also check our data is stored or not. So we will just use the same length. So I equal to 0 to n minus 1. And at that time, we will check that our elements are stored or not. So printf, and this is array. So this is slash n or space. So when we run this, so here we first thing we will pass the size. So we have maximum size 10, but input may be less. Okay, so like our n value is 5. So that means we want to store only 5 elements. So suppose we want to press like 3, 6, 8, 1, 2. Okay, now you can see we are also getting the same element when, because we are printing the same index array again. Okay, so this means 3, 6, 8, 1, 2 we are reading from the user, and these elements are stored in the array ARR, and after that we are printing the array by the same indexing, and we are getting the same value. So this input array and printing the array, this is the main base part of the array traversing. How you can read the input, how you can print the in that array. Okay, how you can read the elements for the array. Up, Apart from that, some operation is required based on the problem statement. Suppose the in between the you need to find out the maximum element, you need to find out the minimum element, and you need to sort the array, you need to swap the performing some swap operation, or you need to find out some duplicate elements, how many duplicates elements are there. There are lots of problems maybe arised based on the same array concept. So if you know the traversing of the array, basically how you can traverse the element, you can perform this task. Okay, so logic you have to figure out that how you can find out the maximum element. So you can just assume that the first element is the max, and after that compare the each element uh, from the previous max. If you find more than value from the previous max, update the previous max, okay, with the current value. Perform this task linearly till the last element, and you will get the maximum elements. So these are very basic. You have already done these problems in the regular assignments. So but these things is the important part regarding the array problems. So this is one dimensional array. Okay, and similar type of things you should also know how you can traverse the two-dimensional array. Okay, how you can take the elements of two-dimensional array, and how you can also traverse the two-dimensional array uh, if that input is given, like, okay. So you know that two-dimensional array is basically we consider it like as a matrix in the logical representation. So suppose you have two-dimensional array of size like 4 into 5. Okay, so 4 means this is the row, number of row, this is the column. Okay, And how we can declare the two-dimensional array, like integer and 2D, not this thing, like array a double r. First size we will declare for the rows, so 4, and second for the columns. Okay, in this manner we can declare the array. After that, we can also initialize the array at the runtime, and we can also read the elements at the runtime. Okay, so suppose we have one matrix like this, 1 1 1, so that is 4 a row and 5 columns. Okay, so that means 5 columns will be there, like 1 1. Second we have 2 2 2 2 2, 3 3 3 3 3. Okay, so 4 4 4 4 4, like this matrix we have. So here the indexing will be start from the same 0. So for the row indexing will be 0 1 2 3, and for the column, okay, so 0 1 2 3 4, this is the indexing. So how you can traverse this type of array, how you can read the input for this type of array, so you have to use the nested loop for this. So like suppose if you want to perform some operation on the two-dimensional array, like 4 5. Okay, so this is the declaration. After that, we want to perform, we want to read all the elements with this. Okay, so with this size, so what we will take, we will just use the first for loop we will use for the rows. Okay, so for each row, that means first loop we will use for the rows, and we will consider this as n value as a, because we have 4 rows. So this is the values 0 to 3. Okay, this sign is less than. Okay, so that means maximum value is 3. And another loop you have to run inside this loop, so that for int int j equal to 0 and j is less than, because j is, we are running this loop for the columns, so that should be less than 5. So 0 to 4 means, okay, so and this and j plus plus, and inside this we will read the element. So this is scanf will come within this nested loop. Okay, and we will pass this thing, so j. So this is the way to read. So this is not required this time. So here we have declared 4 by 5 size array, and this is the way to read the element for this two-dimensional array. And similar way we will print this array by two nested loop. So like here, this is the only print statement, printf. Okay, so this is just like this. Okay, printf. And suppose we want to print in the same matrix way, so how we can print after the completion of inner loop, we can print statement like this. Okay, the slash n, new line character. Okay, so in this way we will pass the input. Okay, so like 1 1 1 1 1. Okay, so this is first row, and then 2 2 2 2 2, second row, 3 0 4. Okay, so now you can see this is the input part, how we are reading the input from the user at runtime, and this is the same array we are printing. Okay, so you can see for first row. Okay, so this first loop is indicating the row, which row actually we are traversing. So I equal to 0 means the first row in the matrix, and for this row we are traversing the complete all columns value. Okay, for all j values. So this is the inner loop. So that means for single value of I, this j loop will run completely for 5 field. Okay, so that means all 5 value will be printed in the same zeroth index row. Then I value will increase. Then that means we will move to the second row and will print all the elements in the second row. Okay, so this loop will run like this. Okay, so for each row, we'll read input for each column. Same way, for each row, we will print all the columns value, and we will repeat this process. Okay, so the question may be asked in the same similar way. So, like, what is the maximum of this two-dimensional array? What is the minimum of two-dimensional array? But traversing is also important. Okay, so just traverse the this matrix row wise, column wise, like this. Okay, so traverse, how you can traverse column wise, how you can traverse the row wise things. So these are very basic questions. So if you know this traversing concepts, so you can also solve some related problems. Okay, so that may also ask regarding this two-dimensional array. Okay, so this is two-dimensional things and array. The next thing is so strings we have discussed, and array and two-dimensional array we have discussed. So next thing is actually that structure union these things. Okay, so structure union, we have already discussed these things. User defined actually structure. So first thing is user defined data types. Okay, so sometimes actually we need to store some group data. Okay, because here till we are just storing this single data element. So like one dimensional array, we are only storing each data as an integer element. But sometimes we need to store the records of some specific area. Like suppose we want to store the record, we want to store the record of students. Okay, where the we will store the name of students, age of students, course of students, like this. Similar for the company, employee name, employee department, employee salary, like this type of information, where the our information will be stored in the grouped manner. So what is the name of the first student, and what's the age of the of that student, what is the course of that student. So that means all information is pointing to the one student, so that should be stored in the grouped manner. So how we can store this type of data in the group for format in C? So we use this user defined data structure. So that first we is used structure. So structure example, let's take one example. Okay, so you can see first thing is this part is important, defining a structure. Okay, so how we can define? So based on the problem statements, just identify that what information we are storing in the grouped manner. So suppose struct student, and according to the problem statement, these three fields are required for each students to store: name, age, and marks. So we will define the structure for the student, and that keyword is for this we will use for struct and student. And after that we will define the each field of the student. So name, because name is a strings, so we will define like as a array. Okay, age is represented by the integer value, so this is integer. Marks may be a float value, so we will declare as a float marks. So that means for each student's record, we will store these three field information. Okay, so these things you should know how structure is actually defined. Okay, after that, we can create a variable for this structure like this. In this manner, you can see in the main function struct student. Okay, so struct student means we are using the data type struct student and defining a variable. Okay, so here we are declaring a variable where the type of this variable is struct student. That means this variable will contain three fields: name, age, and marks. Okay, so here you can see that we are reading this name because this is a simple variable. So we use this dot operator. Okay, dot operator to just access the field of that variable. Okay, so s1 dot name is pointing to this name field for this s1. Okay, so this is just like a separate memory block we have provided for s1 variables. So where three fields are there: name, age, and marks. Okay, each all we can store different type of data types in these fields. So there is no constraint for the similar type of data like array. So here we can store different data types value. in the group manner. So you can see we are reading the data for name, age, and this marks. Okay. After that, we are printing the same information in similar way by this dot operator. Sometimes what happen, we declare this structure variable like as a pointer. Okay. Suppose we declared the pointer for this. So like asterisk s1 pointer equal to, and the address of this address s1. Okay, now we want to access the same field from this pointer. So at that time we have to use this symbol, uh, like we cannot use dot operator this time, so we have to use this dash and this greater than symbol. Okay, if pointer is given for the structure, you have to access the field by this symbol dash and greater than. Okay, and then you can print the variable name by the simple dot operator. If you have simple variable, then you can use this dot operator. So like if we run this code, so enter name like myth, and is 23 and marks is like 45 point. Okay, so you can see we are getting the our information is stored in the structure variable s1, and we are printing this. Okay, so this is the basic requirement of the understanding of structure, how we can define the structure. After that, how we can read the value for the structure. If you are reading by the variable, use dot operator. If you are reading by the pointer, use this dash greater than operator like arrow. Okay, and perform things. And similar type of for this structure, we can create a array of a structure. So array of a structure means we can create an array, and we can define that like this. That means, so struct student st, like suppose if you want to store 100 students record, so how, there's no possibility that you need to declare 100 times the new variable. Okay, so you can create an array of this type struct student, and where the each index st0 is actually referring a one structure variable. Okay, st and square bracket 0, that means, so that is representing a one structure variable. Then st second index like 1, that is referring to a different structure variable. So you can store this information for the 100 student for this array, and you can perform some tasks. So this is also very important. Some record is given, suppose some students record is given, and here you need to find out the student name which have the highest marks or which have the lowest marks in this data. So you can traverse the array, and you can simply compare the marks field and return the name which if a student have any the name of the student, those have highest marks. Okay, first thing, find out the maximum marks, and then just compare the student which have the highest marks, and then return the name. This type of thing question may also ask where the record is given, and you need to you need to perform some operation on one variable of the record and return the different variable information based on the, okay, so process of the another variable. So this is also very similar to the, if you know the array concept, you can also do this thing. So this defining a structure and accessing the structure variables and how you can define the structure array, these are some important part where you need to practice. Okay, so structure is fine, union we can also do, but union is not too much important, but the way is similar like as a structure, but the difference is only that here when we are declaring the field in the structure, okay, so you will get the memory separately for each member. of the structure. But union, actually, you will allocate the memory like the maximum of the each member. What is the maximum size taken by the member, any member, that will be allocated to the as a common memory space. And you can, so like suppose if you want to store marks as a float, as a double, as a int, three formats, you can declare three value like int marks, float marks, double marks. Okay, and you can create a union for that. At the time, you can use any one variable for some one time. Okay, at one time. So that is not much important for the question. You can just you find out the alternate way for that type of problems. So let me just give one example. So here you can see union value. We have this value name, which is actually union, and for this value we can store three type of value like int value, float value, and string value. So that means for value, maybe we want to store some value for some variable, but that value may be integer, maybe float, maybe character, that maybe strings. So if we don't know this, so we can use this type of things. Here the maximum size will be allocated for this value. So here this char strings actually contain 20 size. So the 20 byte will be allocated for as a common memory space. If you are storing only float value, so that float value will be stored in the common memory block. If you are storing string value, that will be stored. But do not store each type of value with the same union variable. Okay, so that may create some problem. So here you can see we have created one variable v. After that, if we are declaring that v dot int value, if we want to store integer type of value for this v, we are storing this. Okay, same for we can store float value. We can also store the copy that string value. So at a time, just store one type of value. So another is that enum. Enum, just give one example for this. So enum is also provides some numbering for the keyword like this. So suppose for the easily readable code like this, if you want to store the month numbering, okay, so month you can easily identify by the characters. Okay, so this Jan, Feb, March, this keyword you can easily identify the uh, by the name. Okay, Jan, but we can also assign some value for the each keyword. Okay, so Jan will be assigned as a one value, and if you not assign, so by default it will assign from the 0. If you assign this like as first value, you assign like as a 1, that means next value by default assigned by the 2, next is 3, March will be assigned by 3, like this. Okay, so you can give some name for the like this month in a, but that means this month will contain this specific type of value. Okay, so this is similar type a when you filled a form where you need to just select any given specific value. Okay, so suppose if you want to select the month, so you can only select this out of these 2 or 12 value. But if we cannot pass this 1 2 3 4 because these are not readable properly, so what we can do, we can pass this Jan, Feb in this manner, but the associated value is also assigned. And later we can use in our switch and if else condition like this. So here you can see in a month we have declared to M1 and M2. If we assign any value for M1 like FEV, we can directly assign without any single quote or double quote as strings. We can directly use this FEV. So that means 2 value is actually assigned to this M1. So when we print, we will get the integer value. You can see 2 value because 1 is assigned to the Jan. By default, 2 will be assigned to the Feb. Suppose if we assign here 4 value, okay, so Feb will be 2, March MAR will be 4, but then APR will become 5. Okay, not in the continuation. So what is the last assigned value? The next value will be increment from the last assigned value. So APR will become 5 in this manner. Okay. So these are also sometimes useful, but you can also find out the alternate way with condition that if else things or choice things. Okay, switch statement things, you can also find out the alternate way. But this is one actually a things that C provides that is required at some time. Okay, so these are the storage that structure user defined data types. These are important. And another next part is this dynamic memory allocation. So week 9 basically, and two-dimensional array we have already discussed. So dynamic memory allocation, you should know this four basic function that malloc, calloc we have discussed already. So how we can allocate the memory at runtime. Sometimes we don't know uh, what is the memory requirement we have initially. So at the runtime, we can allocate the memory and we can perform some tasks. So let's malloc function. There are four functions basically: malloc, calloc, and realloc and free. So let's start with the malloc function. So let's take one example. Okay, this main function here you are given. So in PTR we have declared a pointer and n equal to 5. Okay, so that n value is here assigned. Now this n value we have declared at the compile time, but runtime we can also take this value, and after that we can allocate memory when our programming is actually running. So after reading the n value, this n value we will pass in this function. So malloc function, you can see this takes one argument that is one value. So this is a expression n into size of int. Okay, so size of int is 4. So 4 into n, suppose 5, n is equal to 5. So 20 bytes will be assigned, and we are storing this memory block into we are assigning that the yeah. So this malloc function actually return a memory address. Okay, so starting address, so that we will store in our pointer variable, and this variable is actually an integer pointer. So this pointer will treat as a integer that blocks of the memory allocation. Okay, so 5 elements we have assigned. So this actually memory allocation is assigned for 20 bytes, but this memory blocks will be considered as a integer blocks. Okay, so each blocks will contain one integer value. So this you can also use as a array. Okay, so if memory is not allocated because due to any reason, so this malloc function will return null value. So you can also just check this for the safer side. Suppose if sometimes if memory is not allocated, that null value will return. If you are getting null, that means memory is not allocated, failed. Okay, so you can just put this condition for the safer side. Otherwise, most of the time memory will be allocated. So this int I equal to 0, I is less than. After that, you can simply perform the tasks similar like as a array. Okay, using the indexing things. So here you can see ptr I equal to I into 2. So we are just reading the index. So ptr 0 means first block, ptr 1 means second block. Like this, we can perform accessing the elements by the similar way of the array. Okay, or you can also do by the pointer arithmetic if you know. If you know the pointer of first block, you can simply add one element, that means 4 byte, to get the second block address. So you can perform the operation similar like array. So this is the malloc function. Similar way we can also use the calloc. So malloc by default not initialize any value in the memory place, but calloc by default initialize 0 value. But calloc take two arguments separately. Okay, so here n comma size of int. Okay, this time these are two arguments, not one. So n is separately comma and then size of int. So still it will also provide the same memory blocks, same memory size for 20 bytes, but it will provides as a block, and it will also initialize with a 0 for the each block. So operation will be the same. So like we are storing this value in the each place. Okay, So, and another option is reallocate. If you want to reallocate or increase the memory size in the later in the program, so you can use this reallocate operation and you can increase the size. And that is not too much important, but this free, just uh, remember this. If you are allocating the memory at runtime, so free that memory also at the program. Okay, so that means otherwise uh, that will become actually security issue. So free the memory if you have allocated some dynamic memory at the runtime. Okay, so this is the function free, and pass the pointer where you have stored the address of the dynamic memory. Okay, that free that will be free to the another, then another program or any part of the program can be used that memory. So this is dynamic memory basic requirements. So you should know how you can allocate the memory at runtime. So by the dynamic memory allocation, you can create a same thing two-dimensional array by the or one-dimensional array. So one-dimensional array we are getting the same way like this. Similar way, you can also create the two-dimensional array by the dynamic memory allocation. You can also create the array of the strings by this malloc function. Okay, so all these examples is actually covered in the regular assignments, but you should know this basic requirements, how you can allocate the memory at runtime. Okay, so apart from the 2D array we have discussed. So next last thing is the file handling. So you will get one question maybe based on the strings, then array, and then that structure, this data types, and file handling one question. Okay, initial two questions will be based on the 2020 marks, will contain 2020 marks, and last two questions will be on contain the 30 marks. Or you will also get help basically in the terms of algorithm for the first problem. Okay, so some steps will be written already in the code. You can just follow the steps and you can get the output for the first problem. Second problems, some part of the code maybe will be given and you need to complete the code only. But third and fourth problem, you have to write the complete required part. So this time we will not ask the question to correct the code like this as a first OPP. And for file operation, basically, so some basic file operation you need to know. File question will be simple. You first thing you should know how to read the file. Okay, how to read the file, how to write the file, because the questions will be based on reading some content from the one input file and perform some task on the content and write some output to the another file. Okay, so reading and writing are two main part of the this file handling questions. So how you can read and how you can write. So first thing is the write in the okay, in the exam actually, you need to read first file, and after getting the data you have to perform some tasks, and then you have to write the data into the output file. So this will be the task. No need to print anything in the question. Just write the output in the another file, and that file will be read by the suffix code or hidden code, and that output should be correct in the output file. So how you can perform the writing operation? So you can use this parent operation. So like we have alternative way. So to read and write the things. So first thing is just example. Okay, so suppose let me just, okay, this is the file. First we are trying to create an array, create an file. Okay, so this is some this is the function fptr open. Before that open, we have to declare one pointer. The type of pointer is file. Okay, so that means this pointer will contain the location of the first line, first character of the file content. Okay, and we are opening the file in different mode. We can open in the different mode, and we use this syntax to open any file. First argument is basically a file name. Okay, so file name will maybe in the question, so file name will be given in some variable or pointer. So you can pass that variable or pointer to read the file name. And another is a mode. So what type of operation you want to perform. So here, if you want to perform write operation, then you can use the W mode. If you want to perform only read operation, so use R read mode. Okay, and also this is also a safer side function. After opening the file, if file fptr is equal to read, null, so that means this function will giving error. Okay, so that means file is not exist. Okay, and return 1. If this is not true, then that means you can open the file and you can read the content. So let me just open this. So here that data.text is created. So if you open any file in W mode, so if file is not exist, okay, so that new file will be created. But still, if this operation is not performed, okay, so you will get this null value in the PTR, and that will be stops here. But most of the time, the new file will be created, and you will get this. Suppose, let me just give the example like read mode. Okay, and data 1. So data 1 is not there. Let me check what we are getting. Yeah. So here you can see we are opening a file data1.txt, but this file is not exist. Okay, here you can see in the files menu we have only data.txt. So at that time, this function will return a null to the pointer fptr. If this value is true, then we will just stop our code by giving this message. Okay, so this is also a safer side things. Otherwise, your code will crash and will give some error. So yeah, so data.text. Okay, so this is the way to open the file, read mode and write mode and append mode. So if you want to append some things in the end of the file which is already exist, then you can use the A. Okay, apart from that, how you can write the content in any file. So you can use some operation like this operation. So we are opening the file and then we are checking this file is properly opened or not. After that, we are printing the data into the file. Okay, so fprintf. This is the similar operation like printf. Here we are using this operation for file. So fprintf, first argument we will pass as a file pointer, and another is a string. Okay, so this data will be write into the file, and if you open the data.text, both line is now printed. Okay, so how you can write the lines or how the write the data into the any file, so this write operation is required. Okay, fprintf. Similarly, how you can read the data, so we have the scanf operation. So first thing, we will open the file in the read mode. Okay, suppose this data.text, this is the save function. If we are getting null, we will stop this. Otherwise, we will just read the data in this manner, read strings and integer. So if we have any strings or integer in the file, suppose like this data, like if we delete this and we type this a and 1, b, c, 2, like this. Okay, so then we will print. So what we are doing by this fscanf, we are passing the first argument as a file pointer. We are mentioning this specifier, what type of data we are actually reading from the file, and we are storing that data into our variables of this like str, this is string, and num as an integer value. Okay, so after reading the file, we will just store this data in our variable, and that variable we are printing here. So you can see we are getting this A1 first line. Okay, so you want to read the second line. I think you can use the okay, so we have to store another variable now. So okay, so str1. So you can see by when we are reading the this by the first line, so we will read what are the data we have in the first line. If we are repeating this again, so second line will be print. Okay, so after reading the first line, our pointer will be actually point to the second line. Then we can read the second line data. So in this manner we can read all the lines, but you have to run a loop. Okay, you have to run a loop to read all the lines for this by this fscanf. But we have also another way to read, like get. We have one function. So let me just give in the example. So this is the writing and reading, and closing file is also important. This is the also one important operation. If you are performing any operation with the file and you have opened the file, okay, for any purpose, reading or writing, also close that file. Okay, after performing your operation, do not forget this closing things. Okay, so f close.ptr, just close the file after performing the operation. And another type of reading and writing things is you can use this f put c and f get c. So first thing is like f put c and f get c. So these are the another way. So when you use this, so we are opening the file output.txt. Okay, but this time actually this f put c, this actually print characters into the file. Okay, one character at a time, it print into the file. So you can see f put c, we are passing the character ch, and that character we are reading from a to z. Okay, we are running this loop, and this loop will run from a to z, and we are printing that character into the file, or we are storing this all characters into the file, and we are closing this. After that, we can also read the data character wise from the file. Okay, so we will open the file again in the read mode, and this is the same, and this is the way to read the data character wise. So while loop we will run, and we will perform this. So every time ch equal to f get c fp, so we will read one character if it is not equal to end of file. This is the end of file identifier, eof. If it our character is not equal to this, then we will perform this while loop. Okay, so every time we will print this character as a single character. So in this manner you can see, if we run this, so first thing output.txt is created, and this all data is now printed, that is stored into the file by the f put c. And by the second code, we are reading the data character wise, one character every time, and we are reading the data and we are printing that character separated by the space. So you can also read the file character wise, also write the file character wise by these two functions, f put c and f get c. Okay, so c is representing a character. So similar type of another function we have, f put s and f get s. So the very small example. So here you can see now we have one string, so str100. So we are opening the file same way, and this time actually we are we are storing the string line, not a character. We are just storing the one complete line. So this is line 1, this is line 2, this is line 3. So now we are using this f put s operation. So this will actually print or store the complete line into the file. Okay, so we are also using this slash n, so that means next line will be written into the next line in the file by this slash n operator. Okay, so f put s, so all these three lines will be written to the file. After that we can also read these lines in the similar way, but this time we have to use this condition while f get s str. Okay, what are the maximum line size we have, so that we have to define here. Actually we have defined this 100, so that means each line may contain the maximum of 100 characters. So we have to pass this maximum size at this place and the file pointer. Okay, so this means str variable where we are reading the each line one by one, and the size of the maximum str and fp file pointer. We will repeat this process until we will get this null. Null is representing the last line actually where there is no data, and every time we are printing the same string. So here this time we are writing line wise data into the file and reading also line wise. This is also one important operation, f put c, f put s, and f get s. So this time if we perform this, so output file you can see have written like this. This is line 1, this is line 2, this is line 3. Okay, and similar way we are reading this file, so we are getting this output. This is line 1, this is line 2, this is line 3. So here these are the different three ways to read the file and write the file. After that, so what are the other operations required according to the problem statement? If you know how to read the file, so after reading the file, just store the data in some variable or some array like this. Suppose strings lines are there, so you have to store each line in some strings variable. And if there are multiple lines, so you have to create an array of the strings, and you can store each strings in the array for the each index array like this. And after that you have to perform some basic task. Okay, so suppose if integer value is given, you have to perform some like finding the maximum, finding the minimum things. So after reading the data from the file, the program is very simple, like as a normal program. Just perform your task according to the problem statement, and finally the write your output into the another file. So here actually reading and writing is more important. uh, Otherwise the program is actually very similar to the string operation or integer operation like it's a normal program. So this reading and writing you should know, and the file based program will be generally easy in the exam. Okay, so just practice on this reading and writing in different way, and after reading how you can perform the task based on the strings. So like in this question, if this line is given in the file, so suppose here it is find it out that how many words are there in the each line. So like this type of operation. Okay, so just separate by the space. So after reading the lines, now it become a strings, and you can perform some operation on the strings we have already discussed that you can find out. Okay, so the question is like look like this, like just reverse the line. Okay, so for each line, suppose this is written as this is line 1, so just reverse this line and write into the another file as a first line. So read this line from the first file, and after reversing this line and write to the another file. So like this type of basic operation is maybe asked for the file type of questions. So reading, right, after reading and writing operation you can easily perform. So yeah, these are the basic things till week 10 which are important for the OPPE-2 exam. Okay, so now any query anyone?
From week 6 to week 10, it will be there, no, sir?
No, week 6 actually, yeah, as I said that mainly from week 7 to week 10. But by
week
default,
7.
yeah, by default this beak initial beak also included, because without pointer you cannot do this dynamic memory allocations like this operation. Okay, and without if else condition you cannot perform any operation, so that if else condition is covered in week 4. So these by default included, but the mainly questions will be on the concept of week from week 7 to week 10. So like array or strings or file, these are the main topic.
Okay, sir.
Okay, yeah. And I'll also just pasted the 3 4 files PDF file for the basic operations regarding this week 5 to week sorry week 7 to week 10. Okay, so you can just revise them to understand the basic operations of these which we have discussed today. So drive
Will
link
be
has
added into in supplementary.
supplementary note. I think we have shared initially in the some notes till week 5. So I'll also
Yes.
share the link in the drive link in the calendar event. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Hmm. So you can see. Okay. Okay. Any other thing? So Friday we will discuss all mock problems. So Saturday you have exam. So Friday 8 to 10 we will discuss all the mock problems. Okay. Okay. Any query from anyone? So just practice on the practice assignment, grade assignment of the week 7 to week 10. So that is, I think, enough you can do. Uh, okay. Okay, if there is no query, then we can wind up the session and we'll meet on Friday. Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, sir.